And now for the time when Bill the House Ghost presented himself to the kids. We never talked about the things that we understood to be happening when we still lived inside that house in front of the kids because we did not want them to be afraid. They had so many of their own experiences that I never even got into in the podcast episode because it was years worth of very consistent activity. But this was the moment that kind of solidified even further for us what was going on there.
They're downstairs in the basement. I actually had gone upstairs to Cadence's room. I think I was putting some of her laundry away or something, and David's back in our master bedroom. My parents are both in the living room on the main level. Out of nowhere, the two of them come barreling up the stairs, screaming, "Who is that in the basement? Who's that guy in the basement?
Totally
Papa,
panicked.
were you just down in the basement?" And so I come out of Cadence's room at the top of this grand foyer, open living room. And David comes out of the master, and all four of us are like, "What are you talking about? Who do you think you saw?" So, we never talked about the things that were happening in the house in front of the kids because we didn't want them to be afraid of their own home.
Yeah.
So David and I looked at each other, and he's like, "I'll take Cadence, you take Andrew. Let's separate them and get the stories of like what happened, and then we'll come back together and talk about
Let's
this."
corroborate
So we did
this,
that.
right?
They tell the exact same story. Drew had gotten into the massage chair, and he thought it was real funny because, it has kind of like that quick kind of chopping sensation. And he would sit in it and would go, blah, 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 blah. And he'd, open his mouth and make funny
As
noises.
little boys
And
will.
Cadence would laugh at him. And So he's sitting in the massage chair, which was looking all the way across the basement and over towards the steps that came up to the main level.
Yeah.
Cadence is facing him, playing around with the remote, getting it to do different things. And they're laughing at each other.
Sure.
And Andrew, at, a whopping, 3-4 years old, points across the basement and goes, "Cadence, look, who is that?"
Who is that?
She turns around, and they both, they're like, still as can be. They're watching this man walk from out of nowhere, a wall, walk across the basement, and they explain that they can hear change jingling in his pockets while he has his hands in his pockets. He turns and looks at them with a nasty face, totally mean mugs the kids, then turns his head back in front of him, keeps walking, and then turns left to come up the stairs from the basement back up to the main level. Soon as they see him turn the corner and hear him go up the stairs, they both jump up and they go running. And when they come around the corner to look up the stairs, no one's there.
Oh my gosh.
Empty staircase.
So that's when they came barreling up the stairs. Who was that guy? Who's that in the basement? Papa, were you just down there? Who was
Super
that?
freaked out.
Yeah.
And so we're like, oh, okay. So he shows himself to me. He shows himself to the kids.
Yeah.
Now, David was the only one who never saw him. But David had, some of his own experiences. We later kind of started to determine that he did not like David and he did not like children.
At all.
But he never did anything like real nefarious towards me.
Yeah.
He just had presented himself that one time. And we, from that point, just kind of experienced like lights going off and on, different sounds that sounded like somebody smacking pans together in the kitchen, but nobody's in there. Just, again, more of like the dogs growling and barking up the stairs when no one's
Almost
there.
daily at times.
It was about 3 years worth of constant stuff.
Oh my